they will be doing the telecast.
From Pat Cunningham Stadium in Fairfax, Virginia, WHCS Channel 5 presents Division 6 Group AAA semifinal state championship game between the Hampton Crabbers and the Annandale Adams. The 11-1 Hampton Crabbers and the 11-1 Adams square off for the semifinals, the final game to be played at the winner of this game's home field next Saturday afternoon. Good afternoon, I'm Tim Cole, along with Bob Hintz, and we welcome you to Pat Cunningham Stadium for this game, the semifinals between Hampton and Annandale. And Bob, as usual, we have a great game, but this game is a little bit of a surprise because Hampton's opponent is not who they thought it would be.
Well, everybody thought it was going to be W.T. Woodson. Was going to be T.C. Williams, because T.C. Williams was undefeated, had beaten this team earlier in the season. We got a beautiful day. It's a high sky. The grass on the field is longer than I expected. It'll be a little slower track than what we normally expect, but you're going to find a team that, as Hampton makes a lot of adjustments, as you have noted earlier, and I'm going to let you expound on it. But a W.T. Woodson, an Annandale team where W.T. Woodson field. Annandale team's got a fantastic runner in Milner. He's run over 2,020 yards, 2,200 yards, 31 touchdowns. Unbelievable.
Of course, the Hampton Crabbers have their own offensive arsenal. They have Vic Williams with almost 1,000 yards on the season, the very strong passing and running of Fred Brown, the junior quarterback, and a defense that is always the standby for the Hampton Crabbers. Year after year, the Crabbers come up with the outstanding defenses, and this year is no exception. This is a young Hampton team. 18 of these young men will return next year. So if this isn't their year, and a lot of people didn't really expect Hampton to be in the state semifinals, next year will be. But I think this Hampton team is good enough to go all the way.
Well, they're no longer sophomores and juniors on this team, Tim. They've already got a year full season experience. But this team is so good at making adjustments on the field defensively. Danny Mitchell told me that they go through the game plan with the players. They know individually what to do and what keys to look for, and they make some super adjustments that we've seen throughout the past.
Well, you know, a lot of the times that Bob and I get a lot of questions from people and ourselves. We wonder in our own minds, how does Hampton year after year come up with a team that is a contender for the state championship? It's my opinion, I think Bob agrees with me, that it goes back to the coaching staff. Mike Smith and his assistant coaches worked diligently all week long on a game plan that they stressed to their young men that this is not just a physical game. You don't just go out and beat your opponent physically. You have to be smarter than they are. And this coaching staff, led by Mike Smith, for the last 20-odd years has done just that. They have gone out and prepared as well as anyone can, and then, of course, they've had some great athletes to execute their plans for them. So that's why I think Hampton's here. And a lot of people come up to us and they'll say, you know, I can't believe it. Hampton lost 15, 16 players from last year's team. How are they out here again? It's the coaching staff.
Well, you look at Danny Mitchell's been there since 79. Alvis Mann has been there since 73. Walter Brower's been with him since 80. So he's got a nucleus of coaches that know what he wants, him being Mike Smith. Mike just takes these young men and they mold them into what they want. And I was talking to Alvis Mann. It's really funny we bring this thing up. But Alvis said 10 years ago he spoke at a little league banquet, and the ball players that are playing today, he told them, he says, in 10 years you could be playing for the state championship. And here they are for the semifinals.
At least the semis. But of course, if Hampton can win this game, they will host that game Saturday afternoon at Darling Stadium. So let's hope that they do well this afternoon.
Right.
I try not to be a homer, but you can't help but pull for the Crabbers. They are a spectacular team. The Crabbers, as I mentioned, have their own offensive arsenal. Fred Brown has thrown for 18 touchdown passes. He has run for another 9. And he's got two great receivers in Mario Gatling and Reggie Pittman.
Plus, he's got Spencer and Stein.
Spencer.
I mean, he's looking for more than just one or two receivers, and that's what makes Fred Brown very, very exceptional as a quarterback and only a junior. He's got a lot of poise. He's got a lot of confidence. He gets great help from his young offensive line. They give him a lot of protection. And then if that doesn't work, you got great runners. He's got some great runners he can come back to. You got Vic Williams. He's got Sean Hamlet. He's got the Snow, young man Snow, gets very little recognition, does a good job of blocking. So Hampton's not one-dimensional.
Shelley Ellison.
Right.
Eric Capehart. It goes on, as the Crabbers do, in fact, have a very versatile offense and a good quarterback in young Junior Fred Brown, who's going to be back as 18 other players on the Hampton team will be next year. We had a chance to talk with Mike Smith earlier, as our favorite cameraman, Ron Bateman, would say, let's go back in time for that interview with head coach Mike Smith.
Congratulations on last week's win.
Thanks, Bob.
That was a tough game with Kecoughtan. It always is when you play Kecoughtan.
Well, they're playing very good. I thought they were a very good defensive football team. Offensively, they were strong. You know, we knew going in. Defensively, they did an excellent job. It was a good ball game.
Well, you've got a team today that's got a tremendous running back from all the things I read in the newspaper, a Milner kid.
Yeah, from all he says, he's the best there's been. I guess he is good, but, you know, I guess that's why they're here. So those are the people you got to stop.
Mike, let me ask you something. I know you've got the last time you met Annandale was in 1975. You had some players that are coaching with you today, and they have some. And there was an article in the paper that said something about they get a chance for revenge.
Well, I guess, but, you know, that's been 15 years ago. So if that's the only factor they got in here, you know, I hope we're playing for a different reason.
Yeah. Well, you know, the team looks like they're loose and they're ready to go. Everybody's healthy.
Yes, at this point, right. At this time, everybody's in good shape.
Well, listen, well, we enjoy watching you. You guys have done a tremendous job with your coaching staff. Each week comes up with a game plan that stops the other team, and it says a lot for your coaching staff.
Oh, it's going to be tough to stop these people. They've got a lot of offensive weapons, but we're just going to have to play consistently during the ball game.
Very good. Well, listen, good luck to you, and we'll see you after the ball game, Mike.
Alternative viewing from WHCS TV5.
Well, back here at Pat Cunningham Stadium, we are moments away for the introduction of the lineups for both teams. As a matter of fact, the public announcer is about to give the defensive team for the Hampton Crabbers, so we'll try and pick up that introduction as the players come on the field. The Crabbers, of course, are no new hands to postseason play, while Annandale is a bit of a stranger, having only been in the regional finals now for the first time in many years.
Well, and their head coach, Dick Adams, this is his first season at Annandale, so that says a lot for Dick Adams. But last time that they were in a game of this importance was back in 1975 when they played this same Hampton Crabber team.
And that game ended up in a 21-7 victory by the Hampton Crabbers. So, of course, Hampton fans will be most happy to let history repeat itself this afternoon. As you see, the Hampton Crabbers will be clad in their black uniforms with red stripes and numerals. And there you see the coaching staff for the Hampton Crabbers, the assistant coaches making their way across the field. We are in an outside position, as the fans at home could tell there from a moment ago. We are out in the elements today. I understand a good friend of yours arranged this for us.
Yeah, a young man by the name of Phil Turner. Now, Phil coached at Eaton Junior High School and at Denby High School in Newport News. And when Scotty said, well, you know, Bob Hintz is one of our announcers, he says, don't worry, Scotty, I'll take care of you. Well, you can see he put us outside, but it's beautiful. It's a fantastic day. If it was raining, I'd be all over that young man.
Or about 10 degrees colder, we'd be talking
but
to him too.
This really warmed up. It was cold early this morning. It's warmed up. We got the sun right in our face. The field looks in good shape. As I said earlier, there's a lot of long grass along the sidelines, which will make it a little slower, and that will not be in the best interest of Annandale. Their young man is a sprint champion. He runs a 4.440, and that's Milner. He's number 45, and you'll see him when they come out. Now, I don't see the Annandale team it's not out here yet, and the announcer is waiting to introduce them so we could go with the national anthem, but I don't see them. While we're waiting, why don't we go ahead and go over the coaching staff, and I'll go ahead and talk about the Hampton coaching staff. We got head coaches Mike Smith, Danny Mitchell, Alvis Mann, Walter Brower, Lanny Franklin, Woodrow Wilson, Simon Gupton, Kenny Gilliam, and Joel Gray. And one point to that is that Kenny Gilliam, of course, played on that 1975 state championship team and played against one of the assistant coaches on Annandale's team that was on that team. So it's sort of a rivalry there that the paper tried to pick up and make a big deal out of revenge factor, Tim.
Annandale is taking their sweet time getting out to the field. You see on your picture the Hampton Crabbers and the officials on the far side of the field, and on the near side, which is the home side, the officials are very patiently waiting. I see Annandale behind the stands here, and they are very cautiously, maybe they should, making their way to the field. While I have this opportunity, I'll mention the coaching staff. They are, of course, headed up by first-year coach Dick Adams, Jamie Caravanis, Mark Cox, Billy Edwards, Marshall Jefferson, Chuck Holdens, Paul Plott, Terry Brown, Willie Moore, and Bob Birmingham are the assistant coaches for the Annandale Adams. There you see the sideline camera. Our crew has been here since Friday afternoon setting up for this game, and as usual, we have our good friend Gary Moore from Computerland. He is alongside us here in the elements, and he will be working feverishly to keep our fans. There you see Gary. Wave to the
smile, wave to say hey, Mom. Say hey, Coach.
Gary's done a great job for us this season. He's been a very welcome addition to our crew and has helped us immeasurably with bringing statistics to the fans. And, of course, he is over there at Computerland, and we don't mind for a moment giving a plug to those fine folks. And now the Annandale Adams are going to be introduced, the offensive team, which would lead me to believe, Bob, that the toss of the coin has already occurred, and we'll probably see Annandale have the ball initially in this ball game.
Right, and while we got a minute and we're introducing them, let me go ahead and talk, but we'll pick a player of the game from the players today, and we're going to award a plaque. And a plaque is donated by DC Engraving, is a sample of metal photo. DC Engraving is located in York Village Shopping Center on Route 17 in Grafton, and Dave Bookwalter is the young man you want to see. We're also going to give him a staff shirt with WHCS Channel 5 on it, Sports Place, and Player of the Week. And that is donated by Turner's Hardware and Sports Place, which has a convenient location in Willow Oak Shopping Center. Turner's also has 2 other locations to serve you. Denby Hardware and Sporting Goods located at Denby Square.
Here's the shirt.
And the newest store is Sports Place located in the shops at Hampton Harbor next to Hampton University. And Dave Chubb and Bruce Hatch are the people you want to see there. And we also want to thank the Sports Place for donating a stadium seat to Jess Wheeler, who I still haven't got the seat to yet because we're waiting for the lettering to come on it, and I apologize to Jess for that, but we will get it to him. And again, thanks to the Sports Place.
At the end of the regular season, before the postseason play started, Hampton was ranked number 5 in the state, Group AAA, and the Adams of Annandale were ranked number 7. And now we invite you to join us for the playing of our national anthem. You see the beautiful blue sky here at W.T. Woodson High School in Fairfax, Virginia, Pat Cunningham Stadium. Let's look, if we can, at how these two teams got here. The opponents for these two teams, of course, there were no common opponents. The Hampton Crabbers, as you see, defeated Green Run, Kickintan, Lafayette, and Warwick, and then ran into a very fine Phoebus team and suffered their only defeat, a 22-16 loss in the 5th week, or check that, yeah, the 5th week of the season. Then after that, it was kind of like making them mad, because then they beat Gloucester, they beat Ferguson handily. And if we can look at the next page, I'll tell you about the other opponents after Ferguson. There we go. Denby, they roughed up Denby 42-12. Menchville 51-8. Bethel, their arch rival, 53-0. And then in the Eastern Regional Playoffs, they handled Maury 28-7, and then defeated a stubborn or tough Kickintan team 17-10 last week, and the Kickintan team played a great ball game against Hampton. And now the Annandale Adams, they got here by winning all of their games with one exception, and that was the 3rd week of the season. They lost to T.C. Williams, the team that they ultimately had to beat to get to this game. And as you saw, they are a high-scoring offensive team, averaging more than 41 points a game. And you'll see there, we see the remainder of the season. They've been tough the last part of the season. Woodson scored 21 against them. And then they defeated Herndon 51-12 and then handled T.C. Williams 27-6. But I think we should remember, Bob, that T.C. Williams team that they defeated the second time was without their 2 key players.
Well, they lost their number 1 quarterback, number 1 running back, had the flu, did not dress out for the game, and their number 2 runner, the separated shoulder, third play of the game, so they were without those 2. But we see that Hampton has won the toss and is electing to receive. And it's a short kick.
It's bobbled at the 15-yard line. This is Sean Hamlet. And he is taken down at the 17-yard line, where it'll be 1st and 10 for the Hampton Crabbers. When we get an opportunity, we'll show you the starting offensive lineup for the Hampton Crabbers and the defensive lineup for the Adams of Annandale. Fred Brown will be at quarterback. He is number 12.
Well, right now there's very little wind at all. I look at the flag across the field and I see it's not done. I see that.
Here's your offense. Cherry at center. Newsom and Tynes are the guards. The tackles are Bowers and Kavanaugh. Gatling and Spencer are the ends. And we'll give you the rest of that after this initial play from the line of scrimmage. Fred Brown over the center. He gives to Vic Williams. Williams struggles forward for about 3 or maybe 4 yards.
Well, he was hit initially in the backfield by number 14, who is their outstanding linebacker, and that's Kevin Pritt.
If we may, we'll give you the balance of the offensive lineup. Fred Brown at quarterback. The fullback is Shelton Snow. Tailback is Capehart, and Sean Hamlet will be at flanker.
Well, instead of Capehart, we got Williams starting instead of Capehart.
Pickup of about 4 on the play. 2nd down and 6 for Hampton. Brown fakes, still has the ball on the play action fake. He throws long. He's got Gatling on the sidelines. Gatling almost made the catch. A flag comes down. And we'll have to wait and see. This ball was at the Annandale 39-yard line. Of course, if it in fact is defensive pass interference, it will be 15 yards from the line of scrimmage. But let's wait and see.
And that's the initial call by the official. And I didn't get the officials, Tim.
Well, we are working under a bit of a handicap today. We're not in the friendly confines of Darling Stadium. The people here have been most gracious in their efforts to assist us. But unfortunately, we have a few wrinkles we didn't get worked out, and we apologize for that. We'll try and get the official's name, if nothing else, the referee's name before we're through. But at any rate,
he does have the mic on, Tim.
Penalty will be a 15-yarder against Hampton. Let's listen up.
When we got a chance, we'll show the defensive team for Annandale.
So the Crabbers get the initial 1st down of the ball game via the penalty. It marks the ball at the 36-yard line.
Here we can see that on replay.
Brown just laid back and threw it about as far as he can.
Well, one man is not going to be able to stop Gatling with his leaping ability.
1st and 10 on the delay. Vic Williams gets the call. He picks up 2 or 3 out close to the 40-yard line, around the 39. Here's the defense, if we may, for the Adams of Annandale.
You can see tackles at Denny and Zebest, Hammonds, Morad are the ends. The linebackers Pritt and Parrott. Nose guard is Howard. Strong safety Song. Cornerback Hang and Catlin, and the free safety is Nash.
Pick up on the play of about 3. 2nd down and 7. Brown back to pass. Short drop throws as Gatling at the 42. He gets away from one would-be tackler and then is snowed under at the 43-yard line. Well short of a 1st down, but it will be 3rd down and about 3 for the Crabbers.
Well, he would have been better if he'd spun and went up the sideline. He ran right into the defense, which is not a bad call, but he received very little blocking from downfield. But that was a nice pass across the field by young Fred Brown.
Brings up a 3rd down and a long 3 for the Crabbers. Crabbers in an eye with Snow and Williams behind Brown. Now Brown trying to pull the Adams off with an irregular cadence count is unable to do so. And he quickly calls timeout, or in fact, he may have just seen a defensive alignment that he was not familiar with.
No, he was trying to draw him offside, and that's not a bad call. Mike Smith has used that year in and year out, so that's not a bad call at all. But now it gives him a chance for him to come out and talk to his team. 3rd and 3, and see what they can do is pick up this first down.
Ball is on the 43-yard line. There are 9 minutes and 41 seconds remaining here in the first quarter. I'm Tim Cole with Bob Hintz coming to you from Pat Cunningham Stadium on the campus of W.T. Woodson High School in Fairfax, Virginia. It is our pleasure to bring you the semifinal action between the Crabbers and the Adams, and both teams with identical 11-1 records. The Crabbers looking to extend their successful ways in postseason play, and they'd love to be the host for next week's finals.
Oh, most certainly would. Also want to thank Phil Turner and his crew and all the people up here at W.T. Woodson for all the help they gave our staff in setting up in this beautiful facility here at W.T. Woodson.
So the Crabbers looking at a 3rd down and 3. No score here in the first quarter. This game videotaped on December the 1st, 1990, a beautiful 55-degree day. Brown fakes. Now feels the pressure, gets away from one tackler, picks up some blockers, and now he will be sacked for a loss back at the 35-yard line. So good defensive effort by the Adams, prevent an open receiver.
Well, it really was, but what really hurt that time was that when Fred started to scramble, the receivers did not move down the field and find an open area, and they kind of stood around, and that limited his potential. Now we have a punting, and that's lost about 7 yards on that play.
John Stein in deep punt formation gets an end-over-end kick. It's fielded at the 34-yard line. And some running room along the sidelines. Out across midfield is number 2, Todd Kalin. So the Adams will have the ball in great field position at the Hampton 49-yard line.
Well, if we get a chance, we will show the Hampton defense and Adams offense right after this play.
The Adams break quickly out of the huddle. Rashad Williams is the quarterback, and he gives to Milner. Milner breaks through for a first down, or close to at least a first down at the 39-yard line. So the quick hitter from
right here 45. You see their offense. They got Patton at guard, Karak and Trollinger at the guards, Coe and Thomas at the tackle, split in as Adams, and the tight end is Vernil. Quarterback, you have Williams, tailback is Milner, and they'll move him up the fullback like they did last time. Robert is the normal fullback, and Kalin is the flanker.
It is a first down for the Adams. This is Williams on the quarterback option. And he is driven out of bounds on the far sideline. Coming over to make the stop for Hampton was Tark Cassels, number 8. But not before the Adams picked up good yardage. They got about 6 on the play. And it'll be second down and 4. 8:20 remaining in the first quarter. The clock stopping with that out-of-bounds play.
Well, this team has very good team speed, this Adams team.
This is Robert, and he is stacked up short of the first down. Ball carrier was number 33, Richard Robert, who is more known for his blocking ability than his running.
Well, that brings up a third and about 3. This is a very important down for the Hampton defense.
Robert and Milner are the split backfield. This is the fake, and Williams still has the football. He's going to throw, and he throws it. Is almost picked off by Cassels as he had the ball, and he was probably too wide open.
Oh, Tark Cassels, I thought he had it. He stepped right in. That was a very good defensive play. Had 2 offensive receivers there, and they were so close he could cover both of them.
Now that was a fine job on the part of Annandale, I feel, of using Milner's running expertise. They faked it to him and had that play open. Williams just didn't throw the ball particularly well. But a good play-action fake to Milner set that play up, and Cassell's almost had the INT. The Crabbers have come up with 25 interceptions so far this season. 4th down and 3, and Williams still has the football, throwing long, and is tipped and away from the intended receiver, and the ball will go over to the Crabbers on downs.
Well, I was very surprised that the call, as big a running game as they've had, that they decided at 3 yards they have to go in the air to pick it up.
Villarreal was the intended receiver for Williams' pass, but it was just tipped away on a good defensive effort by that fine Hampton secondary.
And I believe that was Sean Hamlet that made that defensive play.
So the Crabbers now will start at the 32-yard line. That's about where they had the ball to start play in the ball game, or at least about 10 yards further up, actually. And neither team able to score on their first possession. 7:31 remaining in the first quarter. The flip comes to Vic Williams, and he cuts back across the 35 to about the 36-yard line. Vic Williams, who has enjoyed a very fine season with more than 900 yards rushing for the Crabbers, and he has also registered 7 touchdowns for Hampton. So Williams picks up about, well, let's call it 4 on the play, or a long 3 at least, and call it 2nd down and a short 7.
Well, Hampton is not showing the option at all. They're just pitching the ball.
Play action fake. Brown has time, now finds some running room. He takes off with the ball. And Brown is finally stopped as he crosses the 45-yard line of Annandale, and that'll be a 1st down for the Crabbers.
Well, I'm very impressed with Brown's ability to fake that handoff that time. It was great faking. Kept the defensive end tight. The pocket collapsed, and he just went to the outside, and that was a great run.
Fred Brown carried the ball 380 yards during the regular season, so he's no stranger to carrying the football.
And here we can see it on replay, and you can see as he breaks down, and he is really quick.
Not quite that quick, but he's quick. Back to the live action. This on the delay goes to Vic Williams for a couple of tough yards.
Well, I tell you, no bigger than Vic Williams is, he'll put his head down and hit up in the middle of that line as well as any big fullback I've seen.
They call it a 1-yard gain. It brings up 2nd down and 9 with 5:57 remaining in the first quarter. Hampton at the 42-yard line of Annandale on a bright sunlit day here at W.T. Woodson High School. This is the state semifinals, Division 6 AAA. Brown with a lot of time throws, and it is picked off. Only the 4th interception all season for the Hampton Crabbers, and Fred Brown. Coming up with the INT is Joe Nash, number 20.
Well, he was going for Stein, and the free safety came over and picked that ball off. The man that was underneath was the one I thought he was going to throw the ball to, and it looked like he was open to me. Of course, up here it's much easier than down there on that field, but that was a nice defensive play by Annandale.
So the Adams take over at their 28-yard line. 1st down and 10. First turnover of the ball game. This is Williams giving it to Milner. And Milner trying to get outside, does so along the sidelines, but he stepped out of bounds.
Well, Hampton defended that real well in that they were over there to stop him, but they did not come up with a tackle. They hit him and did not lock up. Here's the interception.
Yeah, this is the INT, and there you see the ball just poorly thrown as the ball was underthrown and picked off by Nash. This Milner impresses me, Bob. He has that great quickness.
Well, he is the sprint champion up here in Northern Virginia, so that'll tell you a little thing, something about his ability.
This is Milner again as he struggles out close to midfield. Pickup of about 9 on the play.
Well, that's what surprised me on that last series, Tim, when they had the ball 3rd and 3, and they did not even attempt a run. They went to 2 passing plays, and they've got good runner in Milner and Robert in that backfield, and the quarterback Williams is not a slacker when it comes to running the ball either.
Pickup of about 7 on the play by Milner. It's 2nd down and 3. Fake to Milner, and the pitch goes to Robert, and Robert is met and thrown for loss.
They fumble the ball, and Hampton got it.
Yes, they do. So the team's
number 89 is, I believe that's 89.
Galen Burrell. They
Burrell, 88, yeah. Galen Burrell.
So the pitch to Roberts goes astray. He was stopped in the backfield for a loss, and before he went down, he coughed it up.
That was Pittman who made the hit, and Burrell came up with the interception. I'm sorry, with the recovery. We never did get up with the Hampton defense. We get a chance right there, as you can see.
That is Galen Burrell with the recovery. So each team now has turned the ball over here in the first quarter. First down for the Crabbers. Inside handoff goes to Shelton Snow. Check that, Eric Capehart. So Capehart gets the ball for the first time this afternoon and gets a tough yard. That defense for Annandale has impressed me so far as well.
Yes, they're doing a good job of shutting down the Hampton running attack right now. And of course, we want to thank Dr. Sam Still, who is down in the truck running the slow motion machine since Slow-Mo Joe couldn't be here, so we got Slow-Mo Sam.
40-yard line of Annandale, second down and 9 for the Crabbers. 3:44 remaining in the first quarter. On the option, Fred Brown keeps it, and he gets down to the 35-yard line, where it'll be third down and about 4 for the Crabbers.
Well, I'm watching the split end. Stein was split out to the left side, and the defensive back was a good 10 to 15 yards off of him. Hampton coaches were going to pick that up because that's a quick throw, and he's going to pick up about 5 yards each time.
They marked the ball at the 34-yard line, so it will be, here's your replay. It'll be a third down for the Crabbers and about 3. Brown gives to Vic Williams. Williams will not have the first down. Initially in on the stop was number 48, Naz Murad for Annandale. The Crabbers, of course, averaging 31 points a game, while Annandale averaging 42 points a game. Annandale allows 14 points a game, while Hampton allows less than a touchdown each game of the season. So the Crabbers now looking at another crucial fourth down and 3. They need to get just about to the 30-yard line. Actually, not quite that
I'd throw the ball over here to the split end.
Brown still has it across the middle. Almost picked up, but it really doesn't matter because the ball will go over on downs.
Well, Hampton split end. The guys are playing 8 to 10 yards off. There's who you want to throw the ball to because he'd pick up the 3 yards. I'm sure the coaching staff will pick that up. We get a chance. Let's show the Hampton defense. We haven't had a chance to do that yet today.
There you see the Hampton defense, and I'll read off those names for us. DeBrew and Tucker are the guards. The tackles, Thompson, Burrell, the ends, Newsom, Pittman, Capehart, and Cherry are the linebackers. Gassells and Connors, the corners, and Sean Hamilton is the safety. Back to the live action. Robert gets the call. That's Richard Robert, 5'9", 160-pound junior. And if we may, we'll give you the Adams offensive alignment. I think have we done that yet?
Yes, we've already given the offense.
Okay.
We just didn't get a chance. I believe we have. Let's say we did.
Yeah.
We did. Yeah, we did. I remember. I called them off. Stumbled over the names.
Oh, okay. All right, second down at about 6 for the Adams. This is Robert again, and he is stacked up after a short gain. So interestingly, the Adams are going with Richard Robert, who is their blocking back, more so than they have Milner here in the first quarter.
Well, that's very confusing because when Milner's had the ball, he's picked up good yardage.
I think obviously they're trying to mix it up and so make sure that Hampton can't key on one player, and I can certainly understand that. The ball is at the Annandale 39-yard line. It's third down and about 4. Time running out here in the first quarter. This is Miller on the halfback draw, and he gets the first down out to the 45-yard line.
Well, he'll run to daylight because he has great speed, and that's the only reason that he got the first down that time was because of his exceptional speed. He has got great leg power. He was hit short of the line of scrimmage, but then picked up about an extra half to a yard and got the first down.
Ball is at the Annandale 44-yard line. First down. Inside of a minute to go in the first quarter. Still no score. This is Milner, and Milner breaks one tackle and bowls over another play. The ball comes loose. And who's got it? The Crabbers have
got it again. And that was number 32, Capehart, who hit him and I believe and caused the fumble.
So the Crabbers caused their second fumble of the first quarter. 40 seconds remaining. That's the second time that the running backs for Annandale have coughed the ball up.
Well, that says a lot for that Hampton defense. They're hitting real good, but now the offense has got to take advantage of the fine field position.
And they do have field position at this point at the 48-yard line. This is Vic Williams as he is close to midfield. It's been a hard-fought first quarter. 2 turnovers by Annandale, 1 by the Crabbers. The kind of game you really expected to see, although with these high potent offenses, you would have thought a couple of points would be on the board.
Well, a lot of times your offense is potent because of what the defense does on the field. And both of these teams obviously have good defense. You can see here on the replay on that last is the fumble, and he breaks through the line right there, and here he gets hit, and the ball comes out, and I didn't see who hit him, but the ball came out. No, it was not Capehart who made the hit. I can't catch the number, but good job. Our camera people do excellent job. We are so fortunate to have the expertise on the camera and in the truck with the slow motion and Scotty and the whole crew. They just do an awesome job.
Well, that is the end of the first quarter, and it's a scoreless first quarter as the teams move the ball up and down the field only to give it up in key situations. Crabbers were held on a 4th down on one occasion, as were the Adams, and the Crabbers had 1 interception. Brown threw an interception to Nash, while the 2 Crabbers recovered fumbles. So it's been a wide open first quarter, but no scoring after 12 minutes. Hampton Crabbers ranked 5th in the state. Annandale 7th coming into this game. Annandale defeated T.C. Williams. Prior to that defeat, T.C. Williams had been ranked number 1. 2nd down and 8 for the Crabbers. Ball right at midfield. Brown still has the football, and he will get to about the 48-yard line, and that's all. So that pursuit of the Adams is very quick.
Well, I'm impressed with their defense. They do a good job of staying in their assigned areas.
Eric Howard, 57, was in on the stop for the Adams. Ball is just shy of the 48-yard line. Brings up a 3rd down and long for Hampton. 3rd down and about 7. Second quarter just underway. Hope you're enjoying the ball game so far. Hampton and Annandale, state semifinals. Brown wants to throw, does so, completes the pass inside the 35-yard line. First down for the Crabbers.
Well, that was a nice job, but again, I'm watching these wide receivers. The man is 10 to 15 yards back, the defender, and Hampton's going to eat him alive, and I know why they're doing that, because Hampton can't throw that deep pass, and they are protecting themselves against taking a deep pass. What win we have now is in favor of the Hampton Crabbers.
Mario Gatling making his catch for the first down at the 31-yard line. Stein lines up just out of your picture on the near side. Brown again wants to pass. He's got Stein open. He's got it at the 20-yard line. And Stein down to the 17. So
well, that's exactly what I'm doing. The coaching staff up here has picked that up and is related to the sideline, because those people, Stein, all he did was run down about 5 or 6 yards, turn, get the pass, turn, and pick up more than enough to pick up the first down.
Another first down for Hampton. Their deepest penetration of the ball game. Ball at the Annandale 17-yard line. 10:35 remaining here in the first half. We have no score. The winner hosts the state championship next Saturday afternoon, the 8th of December. On the delay, this is Vic Williams, and he is stopped in the backfield. In on the stop, 78, Song Ho.
Number 50 for the Adams is the one that made the initial stop, and that's the linebacker, Tony Parrott, but he was in there tight. They were not fooled at all by that draw play or delay.
A loss of 2 on the play for Hampton. 2nd down and about 12. Ball has moved back now with the loss to the 20. Brown wants to pass. Has time. Throws. Contact made. No flag. Incidental contact. And that was a good no call.
Well, that was for Stein, who went down and just did a quick hook pattern, but the ball kind of sailed after Fred threw it.
So the Crabbers again. Crabbers will again be looking at a third down, and you see our sideline camera. They're showing how their coach is on the field of play while the play is going on.
Well, this is one thing that the Hampton coaching staff had talked about earlier, that their coaches sometimes will even go down to the 20-yard line, which of course is a penalty.
Third down and 12. Fred Brown, he sees the opening and gets good yardage, but not enough for a first down.
Well, that'll bring up a fourth down, so this may be where you'll see the field goal.
And we do see Sam Welch, number 23, come in the ball game for Hampton. They're going to mark the ball, and it's very difficult to see.
It looks like it's right at the 20-yard line, so it'll be a 30-yard attempt.
The glare off the field is difficult to pick up, but it is up. It is long enough, and it's good. So a 30-yard field goal, and the Hampton Crabbers are on the scoreboard first.
But Tim, it's really hard to look at these goalposts and see how short they are as opposed to those big ones we have at Darling Stadium. These things look like they're miniatures.
So Welch breaks the scoring drought for both teams as he kicks a 30-yard field goal. And the Crabbers are on top with the first score of the ball game with 8:56 remaining here in the first quarter. First quarter statistics find the Adams with 3 first downs and the Crabbers with 2. Here's the replay of the field goal. The right-footed kicker, Welch.
And you can see he had plenty of height and distance on that. Nice job with the slow motion, Dr. Sam.
8 plays, 40 yards, and 6 minutes and 32 seconds. So a very lengthy drive, and that could be an important drive as that Annandale defense had to spend a lot of time on the field. Welch's kickoff is a short kick to the 25-yard line and out close to the 40, so Annandale will get good field position on the short kick.
Well, that was carried back by number 2, Todd Kalin. He is one of 2 players that is on the field all the time for the Annandale Adams. Hampton has 2 people that are on the field all the time, and that is Cherry and Kavanaugh.
Give you some of the individual statistics for the first quarter as time allows. The Adams will start from their 40-yard line. Good field position. The fake to Milner. This is Williams, and Williams is momentarily stopped. Now he is taken down. Galen Burrell made the initial stop, and then Reggie Pittman made sure of the stop. Individually in the first quarter, Brown was the leading ball carrier. Alex Brown, the quarterback, 3 carries for a net of 19. Williams 6 carries for 14. Capehart once for a yard. For Annandale, as you might expect, Milner with 45 yards on 5 carries. Roberts 4 carries for a net of -1 as he was thrown for an 8-yard loss. That on the fumble. And then Williams once for 5. And I'll get back to a little more of that in just a moment. Again, Williams on the option. Pitches to Robert, and Robert stopped at the line of scrimmage. So the Hampton defense is fired up.
Great job of stringing that out. And I need to apologize before you get there. Myron Newsom is the only other Hampton Crabber, not Kavanaugh, that is on both offensive and defensively. Go on with your statistics.
First quarter, Williams was 0 for 2, while Brown was 1 for 3 with 1 INT. Here's your replay, and you'll see the pitch. This is the
play before.
The play before the sack. There you see Burrell slowed him down, and Pittman finished him off. Thank you, Mr. Gary Moore, for those great and quick statistics. The fake to Milner, set up a screen, left side, doesn't work. Robert was open, but he couldn't make the catch as Williams felt pressure and had to unload a little quicker than he might have wanted to.
And if he'd have got the ball, number 55, Myron Newsom, the young man I was just talking about, was there to make the stop. So Hampton was not fooled by that fake draw and screen pass to the left.
So the Crabber defense has stiffened here, and the Adams will be looking at a kicking situation. 27, Carlson is the punter. He just gets it away. Contact made. The referee says, no way, I'm not throwing a flag on that one.
Well, he was blocked into the kicker.
So no run back on the play either, as the ball is blown dead at the Hampton 31-yard line. And they'll take over leading 3-0 with 7:13 remaining in the first half. Quick pace ball game here from W.T. Woodson High School. Hope you're enjoying it. I'm Tim Cole with Bob Hintz. This game videotaped on the 1st of December 1990. A beautiful, almost winter. I started to say fall, but it's almost winter.
Well, it's fall as far as the weather. This morning it was winter.
Yes, it was. About 55 degrees at game time and a bright high sky. There's your replay of the punt. And you saw where Sean Hamlet wide to let it go. Back to the live action. Brown connects with Mario Gatling, who has a word or two with his defender from Annandale.
Well, he was hit before the ball got there, before he made his cut, which I was very surprised. There was not a flag or anything, but he does a great job of concentrating. They are letting the receivers of the Hampton go down and make their cuts, and they're not contesting them. They are evidently a little bit leery of the speed with the wide receivers, and they're giving them plenty of cushion. I know they're going to have to make some adjustments at halftime.
15-yard gain on the play from Brown to Pittman. The pitch comes back to Sean Hamlet. Sean Hamlet gets around the corner, down to the 45-yard line, close to another first down. So the Crabbers rolling on offense now as they're getting untracked as time goes on.
Well, that ball is just short of a first down, Tim. It's the spot was, in my estimation, was a little suspect. The referee was coming from behind the play instead of alongside, and he marked it closer to the 45-yard line than I thought. I thought that Sean got well across the 45, but anyway, they got a second and very short.
There's your replay, back to the live action. Second and short. Oh, that ball almost picked off. No, it goes incomplete, as almost intercepted again. This would have been Todd Kalin, number 2. That ball deflected on second and short. The Crabbers figured they'd go for a little pass play. Why not, right?
Why not? You ought to. If you can't pick up a first down with less than a yard, that's not a bad call, although I wasn't too happy with the results.
2 of the Adams had an opportunity to intercept that ball, but it fell harmlessly to the ground. And it brings up a third down and less than a yard. Stein wide to the right, out of the eye. Handoff goes to Capehart. Capehart gets the first down and then some. He's finally bulldozed out of bounds at about the 33-yard line, but it'll be another first down.
Well, Capehart hasn't been running the ball that much, but he is an excellent runner. But when you have a job that Vic Williams was doing, but Vic is not the size of runner that Eric Capehart is, and you have his statistics there.
Capehart is 205, while Vic Williams is only 160, so that extra weight will give you some advantage. Here's your replay. There you saw him pushed out of bounds by Holly. Back to the live action, a short gain on the play, maybe 3 for the Crabbers, but they'll be happy with getting 3 or 4 yards each time, as the Crabbers have definitely taken over the momentum in this first half after that field goal.
Well, I tell you, that you'll see this time and time again when your offense scores, boy, it really pumps up that defense to want to get that ball back again.
Pickup of 3 on the play, second down and about 7. Sorry about that.
Sorry.
There you see a shot from our ground action. Vic Williams, and he has a first down before he goes out of bounds at the 22-yard line. So the Crabber offense registers another first down.
Well, Tim, if you remember in the first couple series, they tried to punch the ball right up the middle because they thought there was a weak spot in watching the films on their dive play, on their isolation play, but they found out they can get outside on this defense and pick up some decent yardage. The option is working real well. The offense has loosened up the defense by their passing, too.
Out of the eye, first down and 10 for the Crabbers. This is straight power football with Capehart carrying across the 20. He picks up another 3. See, as we mentioned too, Bob, in our pregame show, the Crabbers are not a single or even a two-person offensive dimension. You've got Fred Brown, who can both run and pass with the ball. You've got Sean Hamlet, who has great outside quickness. Vic Williams, quickness.
And both of those two young men also quarterback.
That's right. Shelly Ellison, who will give you some good power running. So the Crabbers are not a team that you can key on one or two individuals.
Well, I see now Annandale is bringing out another wide receiver to help cover here.
Brown on the quarterback option, keeps for a yard or so. Looked like he might get more, but a good defensive effort by the Adams again to slow him down. And now the Crabbers will look at a third down and about 5. 3 minutes and 45 seconds. The clock is running. We're in the first half. Hampton with a 30-yard field goal, the only score in the ball game so far. The Annandale faithful, who are directly in front of us, are exhorting their team to play good defense and stop the Crabbers here on 3rd down and 5. Out of the eye, and it looked like the left end for the Crabbers left a little early.
Yes, he did, and that'll be a big 5-yard penalty because that'll make it 3rd and 10, which will bring up more of a passing situation or a option play by the Crabbers, and that's exactly the call by the official. Now, I know he's got our microphone. Well, anyway, I thought he did.
No, he did not take the mic.
Oh, I thought he did. Well,
that's why we can't hear him.
Speak up.
That's right. Nonetheless, you may have seen on the play that the left tackle or left end, I wasn't sure exactly which player. There you see left end just left a little early. One of the very few mental mistakes that have been made by the Crabbers so far. They have turned the ball over once, while Annandale has done so twice. Brown was intercepted, and the Crabbers have recovered 2 fumbles. 3rd down and 9. Brown has Stein and Gatling out on patterns. Brown elects to run with the ball, using his good speed to get outside, and he's down inside the 10-yard line.
And if he got inside the 10, he got the first down.
He did. It's a 1st and goal for the Crabbers. Well, that was a fine running effort by Fred Brown.
It sure was. It looked like he was going to take it back in the middle. He made a little juke step to the middle and then broke it outside and showed some excellent speed and running. And you could see right where the mark is. And our cameraman on the sideline, young Sammy Still, who is living up here in Manassas, so he didn't have very far to go. I asked him, I said, well, Sammy, I says, man, this as you can see the replay, I says, how do you drive in this traffic up here? He says, I'm only 3 minutes from work. I said, there you go.
Fred Brown with a big 3rd down and long gets the 1st down and then some. It's 1st and goal at about the 8-yard line. Crabbers leading 3-0 and threatening. A mix-up in the backfield, but it's still just Capehart. His big size kept him from going down for a big loss. Looked like a bit of a backfield mix-up.
Well, they ran into each other. The quarterback ran, the fullback Capehart ran into Brown and caused almost a big mistake, because that could have ended up in a fumble. Now we have timeout called by the Crabbers with 2:45 to go. Mike wants to talk it out. That's his 2nd timeout.
There you see Mike Smith, the highly successful head coach of the Hampton Crabbers, coming out to discuss the situation with his team. The Crabbers their overall record, I was interested to find this out, Bob, is 554 wins, 210 losses, and 45 ties. 554 overall wins.
And Mike Smith is over 200 of those wins.
Yes, he does. And very few of those defeats.
You got that.
But the 7 state titles have been Hampton's in the last 15 years, and they have a total of 12 overall. So the Crabbers, a dynasty of sorts in state high school football. And this year, once again, no exception. And I can't help but emphasize the fact that Crabbers have approximately 18 of these young men returning as starters next year.
Well, that is a bitter pill that the rest of the state AAA and Division VI schools are going to have to deal with. As you can see here on the replay, that Capehart is hard to bring down, but he can't run. He's running east and west rather than north and south.
2nd down and goal. Brown with a lot of time. He's got a man open in the end zone. Touchdown! John Stein for the touchdown.
He just run a quick in and cut to the sideline route and was wide open. What an excellent call by Mike Smith. They see something. They being the coaching staff up here in the press box, they see a lot of things. They call down and they let the coaches on the sidelines know, because this is the best vantage point. But that's a big, big touchdown and a nice drive by the Hampton Crabbers.
Welch on to try his 39th extra point, second 38th extra point of the season, and it's good. So Stein has made it a 10-0 ball game with the 8-yard pass, the 19th touchdown pass of the season for the young junior Fred Brown.
Well, Tim, that's what I was telling you earlier, that they're playing real soft on the wideouts and are just giving them too much room. They're going to have to make a tremendous amount of adjustments at halftime. And, of course, once you make adjustments then you can get burned deep and maybe give up. If you bring a defensive back over to help shade a little bit, you'll lose some power up the middle. So Hampton has done a great job of scouting, preparing these young men, as they always do, as is noted by the score, 10-0.
In the first half here, Bob, the 2 scoring drives, the Crabbers have consumed almost 11 minutes.
That's almost 1 quarter.
1 quarter in just the 2 scoring drives alone. This one's 69 yards, 11 plays, and it took 4 minutes and 33 seconds. So let's remember, Annandale's defense has seen a whole lot more of this Hampton offense than they would like to have seen so far in this ballgame. And how do you keep Milner from getting 200 yards?
Don't let him have the ball.
Don't let him have
Keep
the ball.
offense off the field.
That's exactly the point.
Well, Hampton just kicked the ball out of bounds, so they'll kick it over. It looked like they were trying an onside kick, but it's hard to tell from this vantage point, but it was definitely a short kick, so now they'll be kicking off from the 35 instead of the 40, which will give Annandale a decent field position. But at the same time, now you put Annandale in a situation where they're going to have to try to make up and try to get a score before halftime, so they may try to do some things that they're not used to doing.
The offense for the Crabbers has had the ball the greatest part of this first half. And boy, that's the best way in the world to keep Milner from getting 200 yards. Ball goes out of bounds again, so the Crabbers, for whatever reason,
it looked like to me the ball was touched, but I guess not. I guess the official says no, it wasn't.
No, he looked like he was going to, and then I think he backed off of it, realizing he shouldn't.
Well, now they're kicked from the 30.
What happened to the old take it at the 35 or 40-yard line trick?
Yeah, it's gone.
No.
Obviously.
Well, the wind is with Hampton somewhat. At least the wind is blowing somewhat diagonally across the field, if you may. They at least have the wind behind them rather than against them.
Well, it looks like they're kicking the ball over to number 2. That's Todd Kalin rather than Milner or Robert. Milner, of course, is your deep man, and you want to keep the ball away from him.
There was the replay of what happened. You saw the Annandale player, number 20, Nash, almost play the ball, or at least 2 rather. This time he just kicks it straight off, and it's going to go right past Milner. So, well, boy, I tell you, when things are working, it's working really well. Milner picks it up at the 5-yard line. He's on his feet still out to the 20-yard line.
Well, that was a tremendous run back from where they had to pick up that ball. But it looked like at first that I didn't know he was going to pick it up or not. And if he didn't, of course, that's a live ball. So now you got, excuse me, Tim, you got 80 yards to go. 15-yard
return as Milner. That's a great tactical ploy.
Yeah, move them up and kick it over their head.
That's exactly what he did. 2 out-of-bounds kicks, and then you boot it over their heads. What a play. On the draw play, this is Milner, and Milner will get about 3 tough yards.
That's not a bad call. You look for the Annandale Adams to come out and throw the ball, so you figure Hampton's thinking that way, so what you do is you run a draw play. That was not a bad call. He picked up about 3 yards on the play.
Eric Capehart, number 32 for the Crabbers, in on the stop. A fine defensive effort, as usual, by that Hampton defense. 2nd and 7. This is Milner again. And he's out to about the 28-yard line, where it'll be a 3rd down and 2 for the Adams.
Well, you saw that time. Excuse me, you saw Dwayne. Dwayne Thompson and Myron Newsom in on the initial stop, and then boom, along comes Mr. Anthony Cherry to finish off the runner. What a fine ball player Anthony Cherry is.
3rd down and 2 for the Adams. This is Milner. He's got the first down, and he is along the sidelines, out of bounds. Stepped out at about the 40-yard line. The Crabber defense is playing a little soft right now. They'll give up 5 or 6 yards.
Well, you just don't want to give them the long yards. You got a minute and 20 to go, and you know you're going to kick off to start the second half.
Let me tell you something. Mr. Milner has had 13 touchdowns this season of more than 40 yards in length. So he is a big play runner, and they don't want to give that up. This is Milner again. They'll give him 5 or 6.
We got a flag on the play. Excuse me, Tim.
So a flag down on the play, but I understand the defense here. Let Milner have 5 yards. What the heck?
Yeah,
but don't give him that big 60, 70-yarder.
And we got illegal motion.
That comes with 1:15 remaining in the first half. Crabbers leading 10-0. 30-yard field goal by Sam Welch. And an 8-yard touchdown pass, the 19th of the season for Fred Brown to John Stein. And again, we want to thank our fine
the replay
friends
here. Excuse me, Tim.
at the Daily Press for all of their help in providing us with statistics.
And Mike Keach thought we was going to be inside.
Yeah, that news from Mike. The touchdown, by the way, was the 4th of the season for John Stein. I'm sorry, Mr. Director. All right.
Come on up.
It is a 1st down and 15 after the 5-yard penalty against the Adams. The fake to Milner. Williams has it, wants to go long. He's thrown a long ball, but this will be caught by the Crabbers. Intercepted by Hampton. And that is Sean Hamlet coming off with the INT. We'll return to W.T. Woodson High School for the conclusion of the first half after this brief timeout. $18 seconds remaining here in the first half. The interception by Sean Hamlet has quieted the Annandale crowd, as the Crabbers now will be content to just run out the time remaining in the first half. 5 seconds, the clock is moving. And the halftime is upon us. There you see the scoreboard and the story after 24 minutes. After 2 quarters, the Hampton Crabbers leading by the score of 10-0 over the Annandale Adams. We'll return to Pat Cunningham Stadium after this brief timeout.
This is WHCS Cable TV 5, Hampton, Virginia.
There you see the score at halftime. What you're going to see here is the final interception of the first half. And I say final because there were 2, 1 for each team. But you're going to see Williams with a lot of time here set up for Annandale and throw the bomb. And instead of his receiver being open, it was a battle between Hamlet and Connor. And Sean Hamlet came up with the ball for the Crabbers. And then they just elected to run the rest of the time off. I don't know what the player for Annandale was trying to do on that play.
Well, what can you lose? You can't lose much if you throw it that deep. It's almost like a punt, and that was for Robert, who was the intended receiver, but Hampton had 2 defenders back there. And the sun is coming out, feeling better already.
There you go, and we're sun-baked here at Pat Cunningham Stadium in W.T. Woodson High School's campus in Fairfax, Virginia. At halftime, the Crabbers have 8 first downs to 4 for the Adams. They completed 3 of 6 third down efficiencies for 50%. Adams were 2 of 4. The Crabbers had 155 net yards versus 66 for the Adams. 96 rushing yards for Hampton, 66 for Annandale. 59 yards passing for Fred Brown, no yards because the Williams quarterback for Annandale was 0 for 4 with 1 interception. Each quarterback was intercepted once during the first half. Time of possession, a very indicative part of this. There you see it, 19:09. You got to take 3 away from that. Actually, that is 16:09 was the time of possession for Hampton, and 7:51. The reason being is our computer, Gary's got to set up for college ball, which is, of course, 15 minutes.
Right.
Each quarter, but it's 16:09 for Hampton, 7:51. More than twice as many minutes of time of possession for the Crabbers. Alex Brown, besides throwing for 59 yards, ran for an additional 45 net yards on 7 carries. Vic Williams, 9 carries for 23. Capehart, 4 for 15. Hamlet ran once for 9, and Ellison once for 4. On the other side, Milner carried 8 times for 65 yards, well below his 200-yard per game average. 2 yards for Williams and a -1 for Robert. Alex Brown, 9 passes, 5 completions, 1 interception, and 1 TD. Gatling caught 3 catches, 37 yards, the longest was 17, and Stein 2 for 22, the longest was 14. And we are underway as the kickoff goes to the Adams. This is Milner out to about the 36-yard line. And again, we thank Gary Moore and the fine folks over at Computerland for these incredibly accurate and quick statistics.
Well, we'll want to see what the Annandale Adams adjustments they made offensively to get some drives going here. I look for him to give the ball more to Milner. And there he is right from his fullback spot that time.
Starting from the 36-yard line, Milner picks up about 7 yards.
Well, they will move him from tailback to fullback, and they will give him the ball at both positions.
Anthony Cherry for the Crabbers.
Anthony Cherry in on the stop for Hampton.
Brings up
In on the play of about, almost 7. Let's call it 7. And we've got flags down.
and the flags fly.
Well, the Annandale tackle jumped. Well, I mean, he was a good 2 seconds ahead of the snap count.
That penalty be assessed.
Very few penalties called in the first half. Hampton was penalized twice for a total of 5 yards, and Annandale twice for a total of 20 yards, as the game was relatively well played from that point of view.
You didn't want that anyway, did you?
I don't have any choice now. Being out here in the elements, who knows what's going to blow away next. This is a delayed handoff to Milner, and Milner has the ball stripped away. I believe Hampton has the ball. They
They're
do.
doing a great job of tackling that football.
See if we can pick up who's got it. That is Cherry, number 54.
And that's good coaching, Tim. They know he carries the ball loose, so they're tackling the football. See if we got that on replay. I'm trying to move your hand. What a nice defensive move by the Crabbers and get great field position again. They can put a lot of pressure on Annandale as long as they have carried the ball, had the ball on those other 2 drives.
Well, if we have that, we'll show it to you. But nonetheless, the Crabbers have it 1st and 10 at the Annandale 42. Fred Brown, quarterback draw, and he gets back to the line of scrimmage. And that's all, as it looked like he might have more, but it closed up very quickly.
The linebacker number 14 made a great defensive play. Had he not, Fred would have picked up at least another 5 to 6 yards.
As it turned out, he really just got back to the line of scrimmage, so no gain. 2nd down and 10 for the Crabbers. Just underway, the Crabbers leading 10-0 at the halftime. Welch kicked a 30-yard field goal. Stein on the receiving end of an 8-yard touchdown pass from Fred Brown. And that's how it stands at the beginning here of the 3rd quarter. 2nd down and 10. Pitch to Vic Williams. Williams slashing across the 40 to about the 39-yard line. Pickup of about 4. We'll bring up a 3rd down and 6. The Crabbers were 3 out of 6 at 3rd down efficiency in the first half.
Well, anytime you can pick up 50% of your 3rd down plays, that saves a lot gives a lot of drives going. Well, this would be a situation where you would look for he's still got about 7-8 yards to go, so it looks like a passing situation. So you may see a draw play or a an option play.
They're down at 7. Brown wants to throw. He's got a man wide open. This is Hamlet. First down. Sean Hamlet on the receiving end of the pass at the 22-yard line.
What a young man this player this young man is. He can play in the backfield. He can play a running back. He can play a quarterback. He can play a wide receiver. And he plays safety on defense.
And he's only a junior, so that's good news for Hampton fans. First down for the Crabbers. The ball at the 22-yard line. Brown fakes, or in fact gives to Shelly Ellison, who is in the backfield now for the Crabbers.
Well, he's a big young man, and he's just a sophomore. What's the statistics on him?
Shelley is 212, 6'2", just a sophomore. And Ellison, who has been used sparingly this year, but has carried 44 times for 238 yards.
Well, he hurt, all fairness to Shelley, he did hurt his knee at the beginning of the season, and it takes a while for that to heal, and it's not only a physical thing, it's also a mental thing.
Gain of about, let's call it 2. This is the pitch to Sean Hamlet, trying to turn the corner. And the ball is knocked away from him, knocked loose, but it goes out of bounds. And it'll still belong to the Crabbers, but it'll be a loss on the play. A loss of about a yard on the play. It'll bring up a third down and long for the Crabbers.
And we have a penalty also.
So they are talking to the Adams of Annandale about the penalty. Here's your replay.
We have defensive holding, which is a 10-yarder.
You mean offensive holding, right?
I'm sorry, offensive holding. So it'll still be second down, but it'll be almost 20 yards.
So the down remains the same. There was a loss on the play, but Annandale chose to move the Crabbers back 10 yards. They can just ill afford to have one more touchdown on that board. 2 wide receivers to the near side. This is Stein wide to the right. Travers in a passing formation. Brown unloads, throws. He's got, just off the fingertips of Reggie Pittman.
He was wide open. Nobody picked him up.
Brown hurried to pass just a little bit.
Well, he was getting a lot of pressure from that line. Nice rush by the Annandale Adams.
And let's give a lot of credit to that offensive line of Hampton, because they've done a fine job so far today in giving Brown time to pass and also making those gaping holes for the running attack. Here's your replay. Brown gets a little bit of pressure and unloads a little sooner than they wanted to, just out of the reach of Reggie Pittman. So the Crabbers now third down and long at the 31-yard line of Annandale. Again, Stein and Pittman wide to the right. Brown feels the pressure, steps up in the pocket, gets away from one would-be tackler, gets away from another. He's racing for the sideline. Good speed on Brown's part. He finally goes out of bounds, close to a first down. Fred Brown has just been all over the field here in the ballgame.
Well, they need to look at this. That's very close to the first down markers.
And they are going to examine it even closer as they'll bring the chains all the way across.
What a nice job by Fred Brown.
Almost
wow.
20 yards on the play. Fred Brown has done this time and again. He has seen where he has running room, and he doesn't just get a few yards. He gets the big play. He set up the touchdown with his run.
Well, he does a great job of faking, and he's much quicker than it looks like.
Oh, that's close. In fact, it is so close.
Inches.
They're going to bring it across with the chain. So you've got a fourth down and inches. Here's your replay. Watch Brown now. He's got a lot of pressure. He steps up, and that's a case where the pressure actually is to Hampton's advantage ultimately. Look at how quick Brown is as he fakes one man and gets outside and then just turns it on, puts his head down. You don't see any hook slides on this quarterback's part.
Well, I tell you, Tim, this is a great play to call the off cadence, try to draw that team off side, get that first down.
He's also got Capehart in the backfield, his big fullback. Brown dives over for what would appear to be a first down. So Fred Brown says, I'll take it myself. And it is the first down for the Crabbers.
He went right over his center, Anthony Cherry, who plays a great game day in and day out, both offensive and defense. He does not leave the field. Him and Myra Newsom are on the field the whole game.
Capehart will come out. Snow will check in for the Crabbers. Here's your replay. You'll watch just the very end of Brown diving over the line for the first. Back to the live action. Fred Brown, who has been outstanding, 105 yards offensively in the first quarter. Swing pass out in the flat. This is Stein. Stein's got one touchdown, and he is brought down.
He's got the touchdown. What a nice job by John Stein. And it looked like the guy had his face mask, and I'm not sure. I didn't see a flag. Wow. What a nice call, and that's what I was talking about that first half, how open Stein is. And I tell you, he's got to be one of the leading candidates along with Fred Brown as the outstanding player. He is doing kicking off, he is punting, he's catching, he's got 2 touchdowns. What a great job by Mr. Stein. John Stein, number 1. Whose father, by the way, was a quarterback at Air Force Academy.
The extra point try by Welsh is no good, so Welsh uncharacteristically has some problem with the extra point try. 8 plays, 42 yards, 3 minutes and 28 seconds, the scoring drive for Hampton.
And that was set up on a fine defensive play and a fumble recovery.
Here you see the very end of that play. Look at Stein. He is being grabbed apparently by the face mask, and he just wouldn't give up. He struggled and finally crossed the goal line for the touchdown, his second of the ball game. And the Crabbers lead 16-0. Four minutes and 33 seconds. Again, I repeat, and I don't want to be redundant, but that Annandale defense has been on this field too long.
And here's Stein kicking off. Another deep kick.
Milner takes it at the 5-yard line. And he is down at the 23. So not only have the Crabbers kept the ball out of Milner's hands, but they have scored 2 touchdowns and a field goal.
Well, and how do you stop, again, your answer, how do you stop somebody from running the ball? Don't let them have it offensively.
That's right. Ball is at the 23-yard line for the Adams. We are almost 5 minutes into this third quarter. They trail 16-0. This is Richard Robert. Robert crosses the 30 to about the 32-yard line.
But he does a great job of cutting back, does Richard Robert.
Robert, who of course does not get the notoriety that Milner does. Milner with over 2,200 yards this season, averaging almost 200 yards a game. But he has been held in check here so far, 65 yards at halftime. This is again Robert. Robert gets enough for the first down.
Anthony Cherry again in on the stop. Anthony Cherry is playing a great game. We got time out here to move the chains, but the clock is running.
6:30 and moving. Bright sunlit day at Pat Cunningham Stadium on the campus of W.T. Woodson. Tim Cole with Bob Hintz. This is the state semifinals. And this is Milner. Oh, is he ever popped as he got to the 40-yard line?
Well, let me tell you, it's open season. Myra Newsom is one of their tacklers, along with Capehart and Cherry. And I'm glad I'm up in the stands.
Second down.
Crabbers registered 5 shutouts during the season, averaging less than 7 points allowed per ball game. And so far they have shut out a team that averages more than 42 points a game. This is Milner again. Not much happening. Milner has fumbled once, and Robert has fumbled as well. Check that, twice Milner has fumbled. That's
yes, he fumbled twice, and Richard Robert has fumbled 1 time.
1 interception for the Crabbers, and 3 fumble recoveries.
Well, you can see Annandale is coming at the line of scrimmage quick. They're calling their plays and are moving real fast, trying to catch the Crabbers off. And a nice defensive play, stop them short of the first down, and to put up a kicking situation.
Here's a chance to see what the hitting is all about. This is the replay. This is the play before. Watch Milner right here. Boom. And that was the previous play. Now the last play, Robert was stopped short of the first down, and Carlson will be in deep punt formation for the Adams. The Crabbers watching for a fake. They don't get it. Carlson will in fact kick it. Sean Hamlet back deep. It takes a Hampton bounce all the way back towards the 45-yard line. So when things are going well for you, they go well all the way.
I tell you, well, he's kicking into a wind, but the ball took a Hampton bounce, and they lost about 15 yards on the bounce.
The ball will be marked at the 43-yard line for the Crabbers. That's their 43. They lead 16-0 with 4:30 and the clock moving. Here's a replay. Watch out what happens. Doesn't do a bad job of getting this into the air, but watch what happens right here. It takes a reverse bounce, and it's literally
that's a
back.
Good 20 yards.
Oh yeah, that was pain for the Adams, I'm sure. Shelly Ellison gets the call for the Crabbers. He is out across the 45 to about the 47.
Well, that wind has picked up a little bit, Tim, and Hampton will have the wind in their favor for the next 4 minutes.
There you see us and the flag behind us. It's rather gusty here at WT Woodson. Not to mention the sun creating a major problem too. Second down and about 7 for Hampton. Brown fakes, keeps the ball, and it crosses midfield. It'll bring up a third down for Hampton with just 3:30 remaining in the third quarter. Crabbers have done what they had to do. They've kept the ball out of the hands of Milner by long sustained drives.
Well, and what has set that up has been your defense with the number of turnovers. There are 4 turnovers. 3 of them are very crucial in the fumble department. The interception was not that big a deal because it's towards the end of the half, but the fumbles at the beginning of the second half and then the other 2, and it's led to 2 scores. And that, of course, will keep your defense off and their offense off.
That Annandale defense has been on virtually all day. That ball is called a reception. It looked like it bounced.
Well, it may have, Tim, but if it's a lateral, it doesn't make any difference.
That's true, there was a lateral.
Be interesting to see that one on the replay.
I couldn't tell whether it was a lateral or not, but the ball is spotted right at the 40, looks like about the 46-yard line of Annandale.
Well, apparently the officials, who are certainly much closer to the play than we are, ruled that the ball was completed.
A lot closer.
Yeah, we're in another county from this field. But a first down for the Crabbers. Bad news for Annandale. This is Vic Williams turning the corner, and he literally vaults to a first down.
Gotta move.
I tell you, they're getting a good job of getting outside and sealing their blocks. They're doing a good job of sealing the Annandale right defensive line inside, and they're not allowing them to get to the ball. Watch it.
Here's that pass play, I believe. No, I guess not. Let me tell you something, Bob. Annandale's in deep trouble, and this is no soothsayer here telling you this. It's just a simple fact that their defense has been on the field much too long. Timeout called by the Crabbers. What I wanted to say was, and Mike Smith was quoted, I believe it was Mike Smith, that said this fact that Annandale hasn't had to play 4 tough quarters. You know, they've been ahead so much in their games, they've blown away their opponents, that they're not, I don't think they're in the greatest condition to play this kind of defense against a tough Hampton.
Well, and most teams probably come in with the idea, we got to stop Milner. Hampton says, no, we're just going to stop their offense, keep them off the field, let our offense put points on the board. And as you can see, this is the replay here of
see if you can back that up one
Williams.
more time, Mr. Scotty.
But anyway, okay, he's going to show it again.
Thank you, our director, Scotty Bowers. Here's the line of scrimmage is the 50. Now watch the snap.
Yeah, it's a lateral.
Oh, that was a forward pass.
Oops. Maybe he caught it.
Well, he got his hands underneath it.
Well, I guess he did.
said the official.
What really counts is it did look like it. Nonetheless, a first down for the Crabbers. This flip comes to Sean Hamlet. Hamlet, running east and west, gets maybe a yard or 2, but more importantly, wears some more time off of that clock. We're down an inside of 2 minutes to go in the third quarter. And I'll be interested to see what the time of possession will rule here. There you see the scoreboard and the...
Well, they have only had, Annandale has only had the ball maybe 6 plays.
In the entire second half?
Yes, in the entire third quarter.
Crabbers leading 16-0 and driving. The winner of this game hosts the state championship Saturday, December 8th. Right now, it looks all the world that it'll be the Hampton Crabbers. Fred Brown loses his footing.
Well, he was going to run and thought he was close to the line of scrimmage, and he was. He had a wide open receiver down the field, but he had a lot of pressure that time. I noticed that Adams have put their defensive backs up to within 3 to 4. About 3 yards to the offensive man, Tim. They're playing a whole lot closer than they were earlier in the first half.
Well, you know, and again, the Hampton coaching staff is so aware of what's going on. Here's your replay of that last play.
You can see at the top, you can see how close they were. And here he stopped, and he's going to make a pass, and he backs up and just slipped.
Brown still has the football. Throws on the hurry. He's got it completed. This is Gatling. He'll score.
What an excellent catch. Wow. And that will really start to seal the fate for the Annandale Adams, which will make it 22 and a possible 23 points. And that's a big, big hurdle to overcome. As first coach, as you can see right there, first year head coach Dick Adams on the sidelines. He is not happy at all. There he is.
Welsh on to try the extra point. It's up, it's long enough, and it's good. So the Hampton Crabbers starting to really dominate now. 7 plays, 3:59, almost 4 minutes, and it was 57 yards on the drive. The Crabbers have just dominated the Adams here in the ball game. The Hampton Crabbers working their magic. Mario Gatling, as Fred Brown has thrown 3 touchdown passes this afternoon.
Let's go, run it back!
8, 13, and this one 32 yards.
Well, and that was the last time that they're going to have the wind to their back offensively, probably 39 seconds to go in the third quarter, and they will be kicking with the wind at their back.
Fred Brown is 9 of 14 for 127 yards unofficially, with 3 touchdown passes, the longest a 69-yarder. Excuse me, 64 is the number of percentage points, brother, of his completions, not 69-yarder. Short kick, and he was down. His knee touched. He could run all day long, but he was down back where he caught the ball. That's Kevin Pritt. Once your knee touches the ground in high school ball, regardless of whether you're in the grasp of a tackler or not, the play is dead. So the Crabbers here in the third quarter have had drives of 69 yards, 42 yards, and 57 yards.
Watch this. This kickoff it's a high one. Stein did not kick off that time, and he gets it and he slips, and his knee comes down. And you're right, Tim.
Pass completed. I said in this third quarter, I really meant the last 3 scoring drives have been 57, 42, and 69. Of course, 2 touchdowns here in the second half. The Crabbers had a touchdown and a field goal in the first half. There you see Dick Adams, the coach of Annandale, who eluded calls from the Daily Press this week, and then eluded our world-famous interviewer, Bob Hintz. Couldn't get a word with the men.
He was coaching on the field. He was running offensive plays and didn't have a chance to talk to me.
And a flag down. 1 second remaining in the third quarter, and it's all coming apart now for the Adams. They'll be guilty of the infraction. They'll be backed up 5.
Well, they will, after this penalty, they will start the clock, and they will not get another play off.
This will be the end of the third quarter. So the Crabbers have added 2 touchdowns. John Stein receiving one of those, and Reggie Pittman the other. Stein has 2 TD catches, Pittman 1, and Welch a 30-yard field goal for the Crabbers.
Got 1 second on the clock.
Now they're going to come back. Well, he restarted the clock.
Well, yeah, once he restarts the clock, the minute goes off, or the second goes off. So I don't know what the problem is here.
Unlike in college ball, where or in pro ball, where there's a penalty, the clock does not restart. In high school ball, it does restart after the penalty. So that is, in fact, the end of the third quarter. They were premature in calling the teams back because it is fourth quarter time, and the Crabbers with what would appear to be an insurmountable 23-0 lead. Hampton looking for their 6th shutout of the season, and so far they have done exactly what they had to do.
Well, now you've put your quarterback, Williams, in a situation where you've got to play catch-up, and catch-up means that you're going to pass the ball or run draw plays, but you can't run it up the middle and grind out a lot of yards. You got to try to break big plays, and that's exactly what they're going to try to do, I'm sure.
And against this defense of the Crabbers, first of all, you don't get many yards rushing, even if your name is James Milner. And then on top of that, the secondary has allowed only 573 yards all season, which also includes 25 interceptions in 12 games. So they're averaging more than 2 interceptions a game. They've got, so far in this ball game, 3 fumble recoveries and an INT. So the Adams come up to the line. They're at their 27-yard line. It's 1st and 15, 12 minutes remaining in the season for one of these teams. This is Milner, and Milner doesn't get much. Anthony Cherry in on the stop. Galen Burrell was there along with
Cherry was the first man to hit him, and I told you they're going to either have to pass or draw play or try to break Milner big, but you can't drive it, and that's exactly what Hampton coaches have told their people. Be aware of certain keys, look for that draw play, and your defensive backs play the kind of ball game you've been playing up to this point, because you're going to see the ball in the air, Tim.
29-yard line. Brown has had little or no, or rather Williams has had little or no success. This is only his 2nd pass completion, and it's going to be a fumble recovery. The Crabbers will have it. So even when they make the pass completed, the Crabbers force the fumble.
Well, I tell you, that's because of the hitting going on out there. Hampton Crabbers came up here with the idea that they were the commandos, and they were going to come up here and hit hard and take no prisoners.
That's only the 2nd pass completion by Williams for the afternoon, and the other one didn't come until late in the third quarter. Here's the replay. Now watch this replay. You're going to see a good pass and catch from Williams. Well, you're not going to see it because we don't have it. We speeded through that a bit for you. But what you would have seen is a pass completion, then the fumble. Brown wants to go for it all. He steps up in the pocket. He's got all kinds of running room. Oh, he faked 2 Annandale players. He's down to the 15-yard line.
What a nice one, I tell you. Mr. Frederick Brown. Woo, what a game he's having.
Frederick Brown, the 3rd, all the way down to the 15-yard line. Another first down for the Crabbers. He's going to have no trouble sleeping tonight, at least from fatigue. He may be so excited he won't sleep. I wanted to make a point about how effective the defense has been with Milner. Not only have they shut him down, this young man was the first player to ever record more than 200 yards against the T.C. Williams team. Last week he had over 200 yards, first time a player has ever done that. This was T.C. Williams, who was ranked #1 in the state for almost the entire football season. And I know they missed a couple of their key players last week, but here's the long run by Fred Brown. Look at that. He split those 2
defenders right there.
And he says, wait a minute, take me down. I'm tired.
Well, it looked like to me he was going to try to split 2 more.
Milner had 31 touchdowns. He's been shut out. 31 touchdowns in 12 ball games.
2nd down and 10 on the 8.
And more than 13 different touchdowns of 40 yards or more. So the Crabber defense has done the job when they needed to, and the offense has been superb. Hard hit as the ball carrier Williams is stacked up at the line of scrimmage. Vic Williams was stood up, and that's one of the very few shining spotlights today for the Adams.
They haven't had much to cheer about, they being the fans here on the side of the line, the side that we're on.
They're leaving early, as a matter of fact.
Oh, after that last score, they started leaving, and it's still 9 minutes to go. Well, I'm going to get down on the field, but I'm going to wait a while because I don't know how it's.
Boom.
I got to jump fences and everything to get out of here.
Bob, if anyone can do it, you can. Third down for the Crabbers at about 4. Ball is at the 9-yard line. Brown all day long. Now he rifles it over the middle. Touchdown!
Reggie Pittman.
Passes around Pittman on the receiving end. 9-yard touchdown pass.
Well, there's a lot of people leasing from this sideline, but nobody from the other side.
Sam Welch on to try the extra point for the Crabbers if it is good. And it's long enough. It's into that wind, and it is good. 30-0 as the Crabbers are demolishing the Adams.
Well, you can't turn the ball over to any team when you get into the playoffs, but to turn it over to a team that will capitalize as well as Hampton, and as explosive as well as Hampton is you can see how much time that Fred Brown has here on the. I mean, he just had all kinds of time and then said, oh, there is Pittman wide open in the back of the end zone, and nobody around him. And there he is by himself. Look at me.
I know I'm being redundant, but there's two factors that are causing this. One is a superb offensive line for the Crabbers. The other is a very tired Annandale defense. Those guys have been on the field almost the entire ball game.
And they're not used to that. You're right.
30-0. You can light up your cigar. You can look for the fat lady because it's time to sing the song. Milner will return the ball out to about the 37-yard line. But for all intents and purposes, this one is over with 8:40 remaining. 30-0. The Crabbers en route to a shutout of Annandale. Who would have thunk?
I tell you, I thought it would be a Hampton Crabber win. I really thought that they had a better team, but I didn't think that there would be a runaway, a 30-0. But
that's my point. I agree with you. I felt Hampton had the better team from everything we had heard, but not to the point where they had absolutely demolished them. And Robert gets maybe 2 yards on the play.
And Pittman makes the tackle on that one, the man that just caught the pass.
Well, that goes back to the fact that the Crabbers have such a tremendous group of athletes on their field. Pittman plays both ways. Brown used to play both ways. I don't know if he still does or not, Fred Brown. But just a great number of them. The most notable would be Anthony Cherry. Draw play to Milner. Milner, not much. Picks up about 4.
You're frustrated if you're on the sideline of the Annandale Adams, Tim. It's 7 minutes and 40 seconds, and you're still at your end of the field. You got a 3rd and 4. You got to do something. And you can't turn the ball over again. If you do, Hampton's going to score again.
On the delay, this is Milner. He's out to midfield with the first down. And again, the running play, they do stop the clock while they advance the chains, but then they will restart the clock. Ball is marked just shy of midfield. Momentarily, as we're well into the 4th quarter here, this is Robert, and Robert finds an opening, but it closes up rather quickly. He does get the first down. I started to say I'll give you the 3rd quarter statistics, and as you might expect, they're all Hampton. 6 first downs to 2 for the Adams. 68 yards passing for Fred Brown and company, and another 41 yards rushing for more than 109 yards, while Annandale was held to a total of 43 yards in that quarter. Milner had 4 carries for 19, Robert with 3 for 13. Brown again continues with 5 carries for 18, Williams 2 for 15. As you see, Williams with a lot of time, he completes the pass, but it's going to be a little too much and a little too late for the Adams. 41 yards net rushing in the 3rd quarter for the Crabbers, while 32 for the Annandale Adams. Williams completed 1 pass for 11 yards out of 1. Brown was 4 out of 5 for 68 yards and 2 touchdowns in the 3rd quarter. Gatling caught 1, Hamlin 1, and Stein 2. Stein his 2nd of the
evening for a touchdown. And this play is stacked up. Second down is short. It'll be a third down, or at least it'll be close to a first down. It may, in fact, be enough. Dwayne DeBrew in on the stop for the Hampton Crabbers.
And that was Mr. Milner trying to pop up the center, but Hampton had that defended well.
He got good yardage from the point that it was almost enough for a first down, but it is third down, and now we're inside of 6 minutes to go in the fourth quarter. This is Milner trying to get outside, stumbles as he does get a first down. But the Adams don't need first downs on 3 plays and 4 plays at a crack. They need the big play if even anything can help them at this point. The clock is restarted with 5:45 remaining. 30-0.
Fred Brown.
Fred Brown, I don't think we have any choice. Fred Brown is our player of the game. It's a fake to Milner. Williams has time, throws, his hit just as he releases the ball. And that certainly had some effect on the direction the ball went.
Well, that was Myron Newsom, was on the defender that really rushed the quarterback, Williams, that time.
And again, we want to thank Gary Moore from Computerland for providing us with his statistics, and we certainly do appreciate everything that he's done all season long for us. Want to look at some great computers and all the accessories that go with them? Stop by Computerland on Coliseum Drive in Hampton. See Gary Moore and that group over there. They'll take good care of you. Williams, again, play action fake. He spins the ball out for Robert in the flat. Robert has some running room. He's down inside the 15, down to the 5-yard line. So the only thing in jeopardy right now will be the shutout. Crabber defense needs to tighten up the belt a notch to keep this high-scoring team out of the end zone. Rashad Williams brings them up, gives the ball to Robert. He is tripped up as he crosses the 5-yard line. He will be well short of the end zone. No, I haven't been able to pick you up yet, Bob. Bob is working on his, if I can tell our director, he's got his handheld wireless mic. He'll be heading down to the sidelines.
I'm going to go. I'm going down the sideline. I'm going to go over the other side and try to get up with Brown and one of the coaches. So I will see you from there.
And again, the Hampton defense, that infamous, or actually at this point famous line, they bend but don't break, is applying right now as the Crabbers were giving up some yardage, but now have stiffened after the first and goal. It's now third down and goal. And Annandale, with just 4 minutes and 20 seconds remaining, struggling to get into that end zone. Fake to Milner. Williams over the middle, throws, touchdown. So a 5-yard touchdown pass. And that ends the opportunity for the Crabbers to complete the shutout, but I don't really care at this point. I don't think they care at this point. They'd like to have had the shutout, but more importantly, they have shut down the Annandale Adams. Annandale, with nothing to lose, will go for 2. Their hurry-up offense. Flags are flying on the 2-point conversion attempt, and it is registered as no good. That was a 63-yard drive, 9 plays, and it consumed 4 minutes and 39 seconds. But the 2-point conversion now is in jeopardy. There is a flag on the play, so let's see who this penalty would be against. Ineligible receiver downfield. Oh, excuse me, that's illegal substitution. Too many men on the field for the Crabbers. So the Crabbers guilty of the infraction, and a second opportunity for the 2-point conversion.
So I had him up, and he almost snapped it up like he was on the right.
So an illegal substitution charged to the Crabbers. Usually that means you had a 12th man on the field.
You can back that up, bro. You can back the tail bottom up.
So again, with 4:12 remaining, the 2-point conversion attempt will be repeated. And the wind has picked up considerably. We got motion on the field again, and let's see who this one's against. So play has gotten a bit sloppy here in the waning moments of this game. Let's see who this one's against. This is a dead ball foul. It'll be offsides or encroachment against Hampton. So again, half the distance. So again, the Annandale Adams will make one last attempt, hopefully, and this is Milner, and he is in for the two-point conversion. So finally, the Adams are able to complete the attempt at the two-point conversion. But as I said before, it's just a little bit too much Hampton, a little too little offense for Annandale. Here's the replay of the two-point conversion. You see Milner, excuse me, this is the pass play for the touchdown, rather. And that was a fine effort by Williams to complete that pass, and an extra effort by the receiver to pull that one down for the touchdown. So the Crabbers do, in fact, give up 8 points, which is about what they've allowed all season long on an average. And talk about your averages. Hampton, who averages 31 points a game, has 30, so they're right on their average for the ball game. Now the Crabbers, of course, will be looking for the onside kick, as Annandale will do anything they can to get the ball back at this point, with just 4:12 remaining. Kickoff man Joe Nash has the ball teed up, and I'm sure we'll see an onside kick attempt. We invite you to stay tuned at the conclusion of the ball game, as Bob will be on the field and will hopefully have an opportunity to talk with some of the victorious Hampton Crabbers and their coaching staff. And we also will remind you that the Hampton Crabbers, unless a miracle occurs here in 4 minutes and 12 seconds, will host the championship game Saturday afternoon, the 8th of December at Darling Stadium. Hope to see all of you out there to support the Hampton Crabbers in their quest for their 13th state championship. Nash has the ball teed up. He's got 9 of his players to the left of the ball. There you see all of them. Just one lone player to the right here. Ball is kicked too long and goes out of bounds, and that'll be a 5-yard penalty.
They can decline it, can't
But Tim, they may just take the ball there as it went out of bounds. That's their option.
And I would do that if I were the Crabbers. That's exactly what they'll do. So I was surprised earlier in the ball game when the Crabbers kicked 2 out of bounds like that the
well, but who do you want to get the ball to? You want to get the ball to Milner, and he was a D-back, and that's what they was hoping for. Of course, when you're Hampton, what you do is you kick 2 out of bounds and then one over the head.
So the Crabbers now with 4:12 on the clock, leading 30-8.
There he is.
Fred Brown remains at quarterback. The pitch goes to Vic Williams. Williams staying in bounds, picks up about 4 or 5 yards on the play.
I tell you, Tim, this is a happy sideline over here. He's leaving. They're going to watch the end of this ball game. And, of course, we're going to be back at Darling Stadium next Saturday afternoon at 1:30. So you people that are watching this on replay, go down to Hampton High and get your ticket, because that's going to be a sold-out affair down there.
Saturday the 8th, Darling Stadium, the place. Hampton will go for their state championship, their 13th. Pitch comes near side. Sean Hamlet. Hamlet is able to get away from one tackler. A late flag goes down. We've had a relatively penalty-free game. There really haven't been a great number of penalties.
Well, it looked like, I don't know where the flag came from, but it looked like Sean was hit after he went out of bounds, but it also may have been a illegal block also, and that's talking to the Annandale side.
There was a clip on the play, Bob. That was the initial indication from the referee. So that'll cost Hampton 15. They'll bring it back to the Hampton 25-yard line. So the Crabbers will be backed up 15 yards. 3:23 remaining in the ball game. And now Annandale will. Let's see who is calling it. Annandale is calling a timeout. Here's your replay. There you might have seen the clip. And Hamlet took a rather late hit, but that was not the penalty that was called. So Hampton has called, or excuse me, Annandale rather has called a timeout with 3:23 remaining. Of course, they don't want to give it up yet. They want to reserve as much time as they can for an effort to get the ball back, as the Crabbers will be looking at a 2nd down and about 20 after the clipping penalty was assessed.
Tim, I talked to Mike Keach over here, and I told him to make sure he saw where we were sitting, that we were not inside, that we were outside, and he says, okay, you get the slide this time.
An interesting point, and you're right. So, Mike, just so you didn't think we took your spot, I was just informed there. You saw that late hit by number 76, and that was Zaber, but no penalty call on. I was just informed that the Crabbers, among all their other successes this afternoon, have held Milner below 100 yards. He has 99 yards on the afternoon, and he may not get any more if the Crabbers can control this ball for the last 3 minutes and 23 seconds. And a moral victory of any kind to keep Milner from less than 100. This is Fred Brown, and Brown is swarmed over at the 30-yard line before, but not before picking up about 5. Fred Brown has been an offensive machine this afternoon for the Crabbers, and he comes up limping. Oh my gracious! And he is hurt, and he is limping. His left ankle has been hurt, and if that is a fact, boy, could that be a crucial blow to the Crabbers. Here's your replay. Watch Brown. He's been all over the field, and they wanted to wrestle him to the ground, and there you saw he was grabbed, and his leg was pinned beneath him. And for Crabbers' sakes, let's just hope that all it was a mild sprain, but he is going to come out of the ball game. His leg was pinned beneath him by the tacklers. And,
it looks like he's grabbing his his ankle, Tim. It looks like it's the left ankle.
That's what I mean.
He's having some trouble putting some weight on, and he's putting very, very little weight on it. We'll see Sean Hamlet, number 9, come in as the quarterback. Sean will quarterback, or either Eric Williams. And
watch
it looks like Sean
you can't
Hamlet,
see this,
number
Bob.
9, is going to quarterback.
You can't see this, Bob, because you're down on the sidelines, but the replay here, the fans at home will be able to see as Brown is tackled. He's hit pretty good there. That's not where it happens. Now watch when he is pushed back here. He's turned around and then is pushed back, and his left ankle, his left ankle was beneath him, and it was fallen upon by one of the Annandale players. So let's just hope that all that was a nasty situation that does not result in a substantial injury to Brown, because with them assured of getting back into the championship game coming up Saturday afternoon, they can ill afford to have Brown on the sidelines.
That would be a tremendous loss for the Hampton Crabbers. They've got some good people to back him up, but your number 1 man is who's got you here all year. That's who you want to take you to the prom.
Clock is stopped with 2:59 remaining here in the 4th quarter. And Bob, if you have the opportunity to find out, if you can, the severity of the injury and what exactly happened to Brown, I'm sure our fans will be very close. They'll be able to read about it and find out about it as well. But Sean Hamlet is the quarterback. Hamlet, a running back, and he uses his good running ability, getting outside. He turns the corner and then goes out of bounds, just short of the 48-yard line.
Sean Hamlet, we know, is a good runner, Tim, and that shows you right there from that quarterback spot exactly what Sean can do.
And I'm sure that there are very capable backups to Fred Brown, but Fred Brown has been a very important part of this offense, and the potential loss of him for the championship game would be a devastation of sorts to the Hampton Crabbers. But all of that is very premature at this point.
Hey, Tim, I just got to talking to Diane Limerick, who is the trainer for the Hampton High, and it is Eric's ankle, but she said he is okay. that he just twisted his ankle, but it's not serious.
Man with the ball, there's the replay of the run by Sean Hamlet. The young man that carried the last play, not the one you're watching, but the last play before that was Michael Lacey, and he is just a sophomore, and he's going to be a promising star of the future. This is he with the ball again. Lacey, who was on the JV team, has not played with the varsity prior to this game.
I was talking to you about Lacey coming up here, how good a runner that young man is, just being off of the JV team, and he does run well.
So the Crabbers, another first down, and that more or less will be the end of any opportunity for the Adams to even get the ball back, let alone have a chance to get back in the game. And again, this is Michael Lacey as he goes to the outside, and the big sophomore, he is a big one at that, 6 foot tall, 192 pounds, just a 10th grader. And we have heard some really fine things about this young man. So Mike Smith now has Sean Hamlet running the quarterback position in place of Fred Brown, who we are told initially is all right, so we're very happy to hear that. And of course he'll have a week to recover from any injury he may have sustained before the Saturday afternoon encounter. And this play...
There's a fumble on the play that time, Tim, but Hampton recovered the fumble.
Travers recover with 1:40 remaining. Clock continues to move, and it'll bring up a third down for the Crabbers. 1.5 remaining. The Crabbers leading 30-8. If you joined us late, the Crabbers got a 30-yard field goal to open the scoring, then a 10-point lead at halftime as John Stein received a pass from Fred Brown, one of 4 touchdown passes on the afternoon for our player of the game, Fred Brown. And that was the beginning of the end for Annandale as the Crabbers rolled on 30 points before Annandale finally got on the board. This is Sean Hamlet faking to the right, running to the, faking to the left and running to the right, and he is tripped up as he gets to the 35-yard line, and a late flag goes down.
The flag is on number 57 for the Annandale Adams. He was hitting after. He's just frustration, Tim. They're getting real frustrated. You figure you get this, maybe if I'm a senior this last chance, I will get to hit somebody or what, I don't know.
Well, frustration or not, that's also poor sportsmanship. So he comes out of the ball game. Whether he was ejected or not, I don't know, but that's rather irrelevant at this point with less than a minute to go. But the last thing you want is someone to take a cheap shot at somebody through frustration and to possibly injure that player from proceeding to the championship game. So the 15-yarder is marked off against the Adams, and the Crabbers will have yet another first down with just 54 seconds remaining. The Crabbers will advance to the championship game next Saturday afternoon. It'll be played at Darling Stadium. And we encourage all of you to come out and support the Hampton Crabbers, whether or not you're a regular Hampton booster or not. If you're from Kickintan or Bethel or wherever you might normally have your alliance, we urge you to come out and give the Crabbers all your support.
Come on, defense! Hold the defense!
Less than half a minute remaining.
26 seconds left. 2nd and 10, 26 seconds now.
Milner will end the ball game unofficially with less than 100 yards on the afternoon.
17.
Oh, Tim, I don't know why they're running the clock. He went out of bounds that time. I don't know how they can run the clock, but they're running it.
Well, they probably are just as anxious as we are to get this one over with. Sean Hamlet wants to throw. He's got Gatling in the end zone. He can't bring it in with no time remaining. That'll be the final play of the ball game. And the Hampton Crabbers are victorious. So Bob will be on the field trying to get a word or two with Fred Brown, and we're all very anxious to find out what injury, if any, he may have sustained. He did limp off the field. And
hey, Tim.
Yes, Bob.
Tim, I'm over here on the bench with Fred Brown. Fred, you did a fantastic job. 4 touchdown passes.
Not yet.
We want to win that state knowing we're a young team and everything. And nobody think we can make it this far.
So,
well, it's nice to have the offensive line to give you the kind of protection you get.
Yeah, they did a great job. Well, everyone makes mistakes. I made mistakes. The line made mistakes a couple of times, but I think we did all right.
Well, they were given a lot of area to Stein and your wideouts, and boy, you took advantage of it.
Yeah, well, we had to adjust to them. Sometimes the coach ran patterns that we had to adjust to because they were like playing too far back. So we had to adjust to the patterns and everything. So I gave them little signals, and
Well, you guys did a great job. Congratulations. We'll look for you at Darling Stadium and you player of the game.
Thank you.
Good enough.
All right, Bob, and my congratulations to Fred Brown on a excellent effort this afternoon. Fred with just a super effort, both running and passing, and running this offense. Super job.
Hey, Tim, I'm going to get my buddy Danny Mitchell here, and he's got his beautiful wife, Cindy. Danny, congratulations.
Thank you, Bob. Thank you.
Fred Brown did a great job of picking their defense apart.
Yeah, we played a great game offensively and defensively, and I'm still trying to find Milner. Is he around anywhere?
Well, listen. Well, Tim and I were talking before. We said, well, how do you stop Milner from a lot of yardage? You don't let him have the ball.
Well, our offense did exactly what we wanted to do. We put some points on the board, and we took the time off the clock driving it. And when he did run the football, we put some helmets on him on defense. We knocked him silly, I believe.
Well, I tell you, I don't know how many times he coughed the ball up. I think at least 2 or 3 times. But they had 4 fumbles. Your defense went out and, like Mike said, the commandos.
Yeah, we came in fast. Now we're going to get out of here real fast and get set for next week. But I remember in 1980 we came up and we told the kids West Springfield had a running back that had about 2,700 yards, and we knew he wasn't any better than that boy, and we shut that boy down. So we're going to shut him down too.
Well, I think your defense just did a great job. I was real pleased with it. But offensively also, you started taking advantage of their defensive backs who were really back deep.
Right. They were putting a lot of people up on the line in the first half, and we'd gotten three points in. We got 10, so we had some room to work with, and we've got a good core of receivers, and Fred's real cool back there, and he was looking for the second, sometimes the third receiver, and he hit him. He did a good job.
Well, then that's a mark of a maturing quarterback, be able to pick out your second and third receivers.
Yeah, and it's a good job by the other receivers too, because they keep moving around and floating on the field and coming back to him. And the kids just did a great job. I don't know what to say. I just thought they played one of the best football games I've ever seen.
Well, I tell you, this area up here, hate to see when the Crabbers come up, I know.
Hey, I tell you what, I hope we come back every year. If you're still playing this time of the year, you've got a pretty good team. Annandale had a good football team, and they wouldn't have been able to beat TC Williams. But this group of ours has matured as the season's gone on, and we believed in them early, and by God, they're believing in themselves right now. They're going to be a tough group to beat.
Good enough. Well, listen, congratulations, Danny. Let's go back up to Tim.
All right, thank you, Bob. Thank you, Danny, and our heartiest congratulations to the Hampton Crabbers as they have won their 8th ball game in a row. They advance to the championship round next Saturday afternoon as the host at Darling Stadium. The game time will be 1:30 at Darling Stadium. We encourage all of you fans to get out there next Saturday and support your Hampton Crabbers.
Hey, Tim.
Yes, sir, Bob.
I got Eric Capehart here. Eric, you play not only well defensively, what you do all the time, but you run the ball well today.
I ran the ball well, but I think Victor Williams did a great job, and the rest of the running backs like Shelly Ellison. And we did well on defense.
Well, your defense just kept their offense off the field.
Oh yeah, we kept them off the field, but me and Todd Cassell, Lonzo, we did a great job by shutting down number 45.
Well, listen, congratulations to you, and we look forward to seeing Hampton next week.
We're going to stay.
Okay, go, Tim, up to you.
That's it, Bob. We're out of here. We're out of tape. Final score, 30-8. See you next week. Goodbye, everybody.